Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Well, hello everyone, good evening, welcome to round, what is number 4 of the AOR Hype Season 20 PCF1 League. We are here for another installment in the Street Circuit series, it seems. We've had 3 in a row, Monaco, Baku, and of course now we are here in Canada, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, although some can mistake this for not being a street circuit. It's not as narrow as Monaco or Baku and doesn't give that sort of tightness and no escape to the barriers or whatnot. You don't have to be as precise here, otherwise you're going to be in the barriers. But it is a street circuit, of course, has been on the calendar for a number of years, and is one weekend we can all enjoy, hopefully. And as you can see here in qualifying, oh dear, as the AlphaTauri gets way out of shape coming out the final corner, we are in a intermediate, at least for the time being, we're at intermediate conditions for the start of this qualifying session. Unfortunately, I am by myself today. We've got 16 drivers, which is equal highest attendance, which is pretty decent, and obviously at a track which can create as much action as Canada, then we should be in for a feast tonight. But I mean, judging off the start of qualifying, then yeah, we should be, because we don't often see some wet qualifyings. Are we going to get any times on the board? Or I wonder if, to be honest, it doesn't really look like it's raining that hard, so we might be able to squeeze in a dry session, or a dry end to the session, potentially. But for now, it is not slicking off as Christian. Wow, through turn 6, or through turn 5 I should say, nearly completely loses it. Drivers getting accustomed to these conditions. I think take a little bit of time for the track to rubber down and some grip to be found. So Michael Sinitzer now sets the first up on the board with the 1:19.3. Although our new driver, Sipos, I'm going to call him, I think, it's up to 1:18.3, ahead of his teammate Padlo Futes. Obviously, given the fact that it is the 4th round of the season, we're still in the early stages. Of course, we are still parallel with the other seasons going on. We will still run our course all the way to Abu Dhabi. We're just, the first 5 races were pretty much null and void, unfortunately. But if you take a look at the championship standings, which are on the screen there, thanks to my beautiful graphic capabilities, Brownie, after his win last time out in Baku, starting on the counter strategy and ended up taking the win. He also took the championship lead. He's only 1 point ahead of Tom, who came second in that Grand Prix, and has been on the podium in all the races so far, I think, as Tom. So he's obviously been on some good form. Failed to finish, or failed to start the last race. He's in 3rd place, and he'll be looking to make a comeback in his McLaren, ahead of Anderlecht, or equal on points at Anderlecht, and ahead of the other McLaren of Kimi's. Padlo Futes, as we see right now, is in P6 ahead of Warren. Kreisix, both on 14 points. Paris in 9th. Christian in 10th with 10 points. Schultz 11th. Josh 12th. FK Gaming 13th. Michelson at 14th. And Rainbow and Scrippy do not have a point on the board. But that could change tonight as everyone is here. And we are just under a third of the way through qualifying. Kimi's got his lap time invalidated. Paris now onto provisional pole 1:18 flat. Not the best of starts to this reopening of the season has Paris. As I mentioned, has got close to wins on multiple occasions, but just hasn't been able to extract that. Came second place twice in the opening few rounds, but he's yet to get that elusive win. The drivers yet to set a time, Failer being one of them. He was injured last week, unfortunately. It looks like he's recovered now. The only driver who couldn't make it tonight was Schultz in the Haas. He had to go battle Padlo Futes last time out. Yeah, Canada obviously being one of those circuits where you expect some decent action, and obviously can be fruitful with the weather. A lot of chances to overtake into here, maybe at the hairpin of turn 10, and then coming onto the back straight where DRS will be enabled. Not for Fail though, or not for any of the drivers for that matter, because we're in the wet conditions, of course. Should know that by now. Into the very tricky final two corners. The World Champions greets you. Very easy to make a mistake there. Failer goes 12th. Which isn't a bad banker lap time, but it's a second off CPOS, who looking quite quick here. Also don't know much about him. He's a new driver to the league, and given his first early impressions, he's a quick driver, that's for sure. But obviously Tom is there to match him, but not match him enough to stay, or to go into the 117s. Andernator though takes provisional pole for himself with a 1:17.7. So the timings are starting to tumble. Does that give an indication for how the weather's changing? It doesn't look like it's raining as hard now. In fact, I don't really think it's raining at all. So the end of the qualifying session could get tasty, as Tom now improved to a 17.6. Yeah, the track is definitely rubbering up, and the water is starting to be swept aside, quite literally, by the drivers. It's starting to get a little less slippy. So the end of the qualifying session should be an interesting one. You'd hope, well, maybe the track could just do a complete U-turn, or the weather I should say, and just stay raining throughout the entire 18 minutes. We're halfway through that 18 minutes now, and it's got substantially lighter. Nowhere near as damp as it was at the start of the qualifying session, and I think the drivers are starting to showcase that. Look at the tyres. We have no one. Well, we have the drivers choosing the softs: Josh, Padlo Futes, and FK Gaming, but none of them deciding to go out just yet. We have a lot of drivers in the pits. Tom is coming in, you'd imagine. He is. Kreisix is not using any AOR or anything. Doesn't look like he's pushing. Failer, neither. Kimi's is going even quicker. He's at the purple first sector. So let's see how the Polish driver fares. Well, obviously Poles haven't had the best of luck Well, they've had a mixed fortune, to be honest. Robert Kubica obviously having his massive accident in 2007, only for him to win the Grand Prix the next year around. Kimi's obviously would look to replicate the work of Kubica. But will he carry on with this lap? It looks pretty decent so far. Or does he want to come into the pits and gamble on those soft compound tyres? Oh wow, a late decision there. He realised he wasn't making that. Broke a little bit too late into the chicane and then darted at the last second. So we all come into the pits and we have a few drivers out on the softs. Andreatta and Padlo Fuentes are both out. Scrippy though come out. Oh, he's on a lap, I think. Yeah. He comes out on the intermediate tyres. Christian goes second fastest with a 1:17.7 on the intermediate tyres. Of course, if we check best, everyone is still on the intermediates. But obviously, I wanna really look at fitted, to be honest, and see what drivers are braving it out. Is Tom? Oh, that's just the game bugging out. Oh, it always does that for some reason. Every time you pause and unpause, it just shows the fast lap, which bugs me a little bit, but not obviously not impacting in the qualifying session at all. Padlo Fuentes now with DRS has been enabled, so that must have happened only a few moments ago. And obviously that's in a Padlo Fuentes. So there are 3 DRS zones. I sometimes forget that that one down towards turn 9 actually exists, because let's be honest, we've not seen any overtaking there. It's literally just, I think, a boost for the drivers to get close, just maybe challenge into the hairpin. Padlo Fuentes has surpassed, and obviously this is the main overtaking zone down towards the final chicane of 13 and 14, which Padlo Fuentes is approaching now at near enough 200 miles an hour as he makes his way through that final chicane and up towards the line, taking the shortest route, and obviously it's a pole position. He's the only driver who set a lap time on the soft tyres, a 1:14 flat. Who else is pushing on those soft tyres? I think Tom starts his out lap, as does Josh. I think Andreatta is the next driver who will cross the line on those softs. He's 3.5 seconds up on his PB, and you'd imagine there's quite a lot of time to find in the final corner. Can take a lot more speed now. Can the Mercedes driver full commitment? Maybe not full commitment, considering it's the first lap. Want to take it easy, and this is technically the second back lap time of the session. That means absolutely nothing to Andreatta though. Smashes Padlo Fuentes' attempt, but Paris smashes Andreatta's. 1:11.9. Pole should be on a fully dry session into the 9s. You'd imagine. And here comes Michael Tinitza. He's actually starting an out lap. But obviously the track still isn't 100%. It's still not as grippy as drivers would want it, but the more rubber they're laying down, the more the track is evolving. Here comes Tom, I think. Let's cross the line. Can he take pole? He can. 1:11.3. So yeah, the time is gonna start tumbling and tumbling. It's about getting out there at the last possible opportunity where the track grip is at its highest, and then just making sure you don't bottle it, because there are a few corners. Well, I'm actually quite intrigued. Look at the race director. Oh dear. Yeah, there's quite a lot of bad lap times, as you would imagine. There are a lot of corners where it's very easy to cut if you make the smallest error. I'm pretty sure every single corner, apart from maybe turn 2, is easy to cut or gain some advantage. As that's definitely not how you take that chicane. Do not follow what Josh has did there. Currently P2 at the moment. Kimi's P1 at the moment with a 10.6. But yeah, only a few drivers have set their lap time. Only the top 6 have set lap times on the soft compound tyre. The rest haven't, and they're biding their time. Michael Tinner's got another lap time validated, as has Rainbow, I should say. Brownie, once again, going for that mediums. It worked wonders for him last time out. Spoiler. But a very different track here is Canada, and even more drivers, so maybe that might not be the wisest of decisions, but hey ho. He obviously knows more than me. He's on the track. I'm not. So maybe he could work wonders with that strategy. Once again, as Michael Tinner stormed into the pits, as does Rainbow, because the time is starting, well, to be that 2-minute melee zone where everyone surges out, and it's gonna be a cluster, you'd imagine. In the final few minutes, it's gonna be very hard to track who's where. 2 Mercedes are out early. Unfortunately for them, they might get caught in some traffic. Anthony might be alright, but Scrippy, as he starts this lap, should be alright. You can see the Red Bull, the AlphaTauri, and a Ferrari just ahead of him, going through turn 3 and 4. He's already backed off though, because he's got his lap time validated. He is very lucky that he got out early, because he does have another chance to go again. What about his teammate, the Undernator? He goes through turn 1 and 2 very nice. The racing points are just ahead of him, and he gets lap time validated, and lucky for him, he can go again. But that can't be said for many other drivers. Everyone is out now on their final attempts. FK Gaming currently P1 with a 107.8. Wow, I was way off the estimates, thinking we were getting to the 9s if we were lucky. But no, the track has really started to ramp it up, and the drivers are capitalising on it. Let's see who will be third. Well, these guys are all on their outlaps. You'd imagine Padlo Futes. Yeah, everyone is pretty much on their outlap. Thaler, lap time invalidated. He's gonna have to get a move on because, oh dear, FK Gaming might have had some issues or some not. But Thaler has to get a move on because he's got 20 seconds to make it to the line, and he's pushing, which obviously isn't gonna do his tyres any good whatsoever. Maybe his lap time is valid though. We'll have to wait and see. As he comes through the final, no, it's definitely not valid because he's not even taking the approach to the line. Yeah, he's going again. So, let's start the train, and I think it is Tom97 who leads the train. Paris and Sipos both do not improve. So I'll be starting 5th and 9th at best. Undernator P6. But here comes Tom, currently P4 with a 111.3. His teammate FK Gaming is currently on pole position. But can Tom deny his teammate and take pole back for himself as he crosses the line now? He can. 4/10 up. Here comes Warren next across the line. He goes P2. What about Padlo Futes? Where can he come? P4 at the moment. Scrippy P14. What about the 2 racing points? Kryzik goes up to P4. Josh up to P4, overtakes his teammate. Now we look at Kimmy's, who is in P7 at the moment. Had provisional pole, improved but not enough. Michael Tinitzer goes 13th. Jan Thaler went P6. So not a bad qualifying session for him. But there you have it. Tom and Paul were in second. British won too. That's patriotic. You can see there the top 10 all set their lap times on the soft. The rest didn't. And get a fresh set regardless of if they set a lap time on the slick tyres or not. But yeah, 4 seconds and then it was off. Obviously you can tell how much track evolved in the last few minutes. But yeah, Tom got a quarter of a second gap to Warren. Then FK Gaming Josh, Kreisig, Failer, Padler Fuentes, Kimmy's only his second back. So yeah, obviously, very much a wide spread of drivers, but obviously that's to be expected at an intermediate qualifying session. What about the race though? That looks dry. Looks overcast though, but looks dry. So it'll be interesting to see if we'll be needing the wet audiences during the race, but maybe we'll get a clue from the drivers starting out to the top 10. If they go onto the hards, then maybe they'll be audacious enough to try our strategy, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. We're waiting for the drivers to line up, and hopefully we're in for a cracker. 16 drivers, and yeah, it's got all the markings, all the ingredients for a decent Grand Prix. Here at the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve. So formation gets underway now. Predicted pit stop strategy. Soft, medium, medium. Interesting. Let's view the tyres everyone's gone on. Interesting, so only one driver on the hards in CPOS, the rest on mediums, apart from Michael Sinetzer, who's gone on to the soft, interestingly. So, I have no idea about the weather, but yeah. The run to Turn 1 is not that long actually, is it? Just like in Baku, and in Monaco to be honest, so I don't really think we'll be seeing overtakes, if anything. Oh well. It's going to be interesting through Turn 1 and Turn 2. But Tom's usually has some good starts so far. As had Warren. FK Gaming, where is he? He's a lot further down than he should be. It's not make a difference, mind you, but hopefully that's nothing technical related for the Alfa Romeo, because they're in a wondrous position to get a haul of points. Thomas on pole, and hopefully FK Gaming doesn't have any issues, and he's just, well, I don't know really, he's just gone for a pre-race toilet break or something. We'll have to wait and find out though. We'll definitely see if he's controlling the car when the forward lights go out or not. But yeah, the formation lap is almost done. Tom lines up on his grid spot, and we can get going for the 4th round of this championship. The first street track in a row, but definitely one of the more exciting Grand Prix on the calendars. FK Gaming, that's not where you want to start. He's back in his grid spot though, as are the other 15 drivers. And when the 5 red lights go out, 35 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix is go. Who gets the best start off the line? Tom certainly does. FK Gaming dropping back, so he's definitely got those technical issues that are haunting him. Warren through into P2. That is Kreisig going through. Warren nearly completely lose it coming out of turn 2. Unfortunately, the timing boards are completely elusive to what's actually going on stream right now, as that is Josh getting past. Oh no! Failer has spun, as you can see. Oh, one Padler Fuentes has also spun, and even more drivers involved. FK Gaming and the other Alpha Tauri of CPOS all getting involved in first lap skirmishes. Wow, we've had a lot of clean races so far this season, but that definitely marks a change. I mean, the timing boards are anything but clean at the moment. They're having a field day, it seems, but on track you can see Tom leading from Warren. leading from Josh and Christian. FK Gaming must be bugged on my screen. Hopefully not bugged for any of the other drivers, but that's either here or there. Unsurprisingly, Kimmy's into the pits. Interesting. So I wonder if the McLaren's tangled. I think Failer avoided wing damage, which is good for him, but I mean, wing damage or not, he's in P11 after starting P6. That is not the best of starts, but you know, he can make it back as can Failer. Very easy to overtake around here. As Tom's now already building that gap to 2 seconds. Warren looks like he's struggling to get those tyres up to temperature in the opening few laps. And Josh, albeit with DRS, without DRS I should say, might have a chance to snatch at him. But yeah, without DRS it's very tricky to get past. But thankfully for him, he will be in aid of that DRS as we come on to the next lap. Christian now sets fast up with the Grand Prix on his medium tyres. He's made a good start from P12 on the grid, I want to say. Yeah, no, P11. Brownie Rainbow up into P6 from P15. Great start from the Renault driver. Although he is 3 seconds behind Christian on the same set of tyres and leads, you can't see from that camera angle, but leads quite a train. Oh dear, that's Crysis has got wing damage, that's why he's struggling. I was wondering why he was tumbling down the field, and obviously there's your explanation. Michael Tinnerton might try a move. No, he doesn't. What about further up? Can Josh now get past Warren? No. Too far behind into the braking zone, and obviously this is a track. Oh no, Josh, that's 3 second penalties. I'm going to say this is a track where you want to be alongside into the braking zones, because there's not many chances for dive bombs or trying to catch your opponent napping. I think the hairpin is really the only instance of that. Elsewhere, I think you're gonna have to rely on the driver ahead being compliant and just letting you in, letting you through. Hopefully for Josh's case, Warren will do that for him. Maybe into turn 9, maybe, but yeah, it's unlikely. Josh just biding his time. He knows. Oh dear, that's a bit wide into turn 9, or turn 10, I should say. Lost a little bit of momentum, but it's still right there with Warren. And you'd imagine, with DRS on this lap, we'll breeze past the Red Bull driver. Oh, here we go. DRS is now activated. And Josh gets close. But Warren seems to have some decent straight line speed. And he goes into the pits on lap 4. So quite fortunate that Josh didn't try for a move. I could have got a little bit heated down to the braking zone. It's quite tricky, obviously, because you're blasting into the pits whilst the drivers are braking. Incidents have happened there in league races. Thankfully for Josh's and Warren's case, nothing happened on that front, and Warren now comes out into this race again in P11 with quite a decent amount of clean air on those medium tyres. Paris pitting on the opening lap, of course. Just behind him, oh, there's Filler coming out of the pits just behind the Red Bull driver. So yeah, McLaren's first few laps haven't really gone to plan. Down in P12 and P13. Look at this. Josh without DRS will probably get overtaken by Andernator here. Down towards the final chicane. And Andernator breezing past the Racing Point, who lets him through! Never mind. Oh dear, Josh. I think he misjudged that a little bit there. Wanted to come into the pits, but obviously Andernator was right in front of him. and obviously misjudged the point where I needed to brake. Hit the backside of Andernator. Very lucky is Andernator to not get spun round or anything, but that's a front ring change to Josh, which will see him way behind Warren, who he was battling with, and maybe even behind Failer and Paris. They'll be very close coming into turn 2. Oh, he's just out ahead of the McLaren, who has in turn also got past Paris, unsurprisingly. But yeah, the 1, 2, 3 right now is Tom, Andre, and Christian. Rainbow and Brownie P4 and P5. Scrippy behind in P6. He is looking very eager to make a move down towards turn 13 and 14, where his teammate made a move last time out. Hopefully, for Brownie's case, he doesn't end up in the same situation as Josh. Down towards the final chicane we go. No. Brownie lets Scrippy through, although he gets a horrible exit coming out of the final corner. But he does have DRS, thankfully, to save his bacon. Scrippy now up to P4 as Tom comes into the pits. Oh, he's going to be close to himself and Warren, but I think he will get out ahead, and he does. Warren got held up there by this AlphaTauri of CPOS there. But he has reduced deficits a little bit. But unfortunately for him, there's a car in between himself and Tom, so he's going to want to clear the AlphaTauri as soon as possible. Maybe into here. He's right on the tail. CPOS got a bad exit. And yeah, I think he will actually get passed down towards turn 9. Is he going to go for it? No, decides against it. Oh, but CPOS goes wide and he'll have to give that position back. He'll give the position entirely, and he does. A few corners too late for Warren, but got the job done nice and easily. And now can start chasing after Tom, potentially. He's well there, is Tom. Only 1.6 seconds separating the two of them. And you'd imagine with the medium tyres going longer into the Grand Prix that they're going to catch up to a little bit of traffic. Just spice up the battle for the lead even more. And further ahead, we still obviously, well, the first drivers will catch is Scrippy and Brownie, who are also having their little battle. We've also got Josh ahead of Fail ahead of Paris. They're running along quite nicely. At the front, FK Gaming apparently is in P1. I don't really believe that. Tom now gets a second time penalty. Was it Warren or Josh who got the penalty? Let me just double check. No, it was Josh, but Warren is on the fringes of a penalty himself, so expect quite a few penalties. This is where Jens comes in very helpful, where he gets his notepad and whatnot. We were going to have to rely on race director for today, unfortunately. And today comes into the pits now, and I'll come out behind Warren, you'd imagine, but ahead of Josh. As he gets up to full speed. Yeah. A few seconds adrift of Warren, actually. As Kimmy's is out. He comes to first retiring of this Grand Prix. It's a shame for him. So a good first few races. First DNF isn't at all what you want. So yeah, Jan Failer holding the flag down for McLaren now. He's running just behind these two. And trying to get past CPOS, the only driver on the hards at this current stage of the Grand Prix, and Andernator sweeps past him like he wasn't even there. I'm going to P7. The next target is Warren, which is for 4th position. and he's got 4 lap fresher tyres compared to the Red Bull drivers, so this is going to get interesting. Josh found it very difficult to get past Warren. Anthony found it very easy to get past Josh, so will he find it easy to get past Warren? We'll find out. But he's gaining, and he's already within that second. The sun has started to come out now, so any chance of some wet weather have been pretty much nullified by that. But still, I'm not even a third of the way through the Grand Prix as of yet, so I have to wait and see. But yeah, looks like Andrea is going to make light work of Warren. Coming out of the hairpin. And Warren just sweeps aside. He accepts his fate. And just lets Andrea just cruise by. Warren did not want to get involved with some funky business there. And was very compliant to just let Andrea through. So can Andrea get chasing after Tom now? 2 lap fresher tyres, fast lap of the Grand Prix. The gap is 3.2 seconds. Wasn't sure of the gap between Andrea and Tom when Andrea came out of the pits. But you'd imagine it's a little bit shorter now. Especially considering Tom has got some traffic to deal with. As I said, Brownie and Scrippy were the first drivers to be catched, and Rainbow is just ahead. Brownie does have DRS, but Tom is right there with him. Oh, Brownie might actually try and go down the inside, but Tom, I was going to say maybe can he try around the outside? No, too audacious that would be, too risky at this stage. But yeah, he is getting held up a lot. Andrea is getting to second, near enough on this lap. Brownie can't get past Scrippy. This is really starting to hamper Tom, and he needs to clear these drivers now. He has to get past Brownie now. He's going to have to go for a move here, surely into turn 1. But no. Decides against it. Oh, you can just see how much more grip he has in his potential, but just can't extract that. And they're now 1.7 seconds behind. Surely Tom's going for it this time around. Down the inside. Brownie fights with him. Forced him a little bit wide. Oh no! Brownie spins. As a result of battling. Just too eager on the throttle pedal. Thank goodness he ghosted. Safety car? What? Okay. By Brownie's interesting recovery, he's managed to keep himself in the race because of the safety car. He's very lucky he's the last week's race winner. But that obviously means the medium runners, like his teammates, now has a chance to come into the pits and lose a lot less time than he would have. Yeah, unsurprisingly, these two are coming into the pits. Wow. It's like Crashgate all over again, and it's with weather, ironically. At a street circuit. Looking good for Rainbow at the moment. I was going to say if he had car number 14 it would have been fitting, but no, it's 34. Obviously, next year, I'll be able to choose my 14 in the F1 2021 game, because that will be occupied by Renault. But yeah, Brownie comes into the pits. So the safety car being out, F1 Gaming's in the pits. I really don't know where he is on track. Well, he's in the pits, clearly, but yeah, eludes me. But at the moment, it is Warren who leads his Grand Prix. Tom came into the pits, interestingly, to fit on the hard tyre, and got jumped in the process by Andrea. Wow. You'd imagine, excuse me, you'd imagine if you're in a Mercedes, you find it well, there'll be more of a chance to get held on the pit stops, but clearly not the case. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, everyone's pitted apart from Warren, so I don't think the Red Bull driver has made the best strategy decision, but we'll see. We will see. Those mediums can last about 10 more laps. But obviously he will have to pit again. Everyone on the hards won't, you know, you'd put your money on that. Everyone who just pitted onto the mediums should be able to stretch it out to the end as well. And if I was driver, I'd be in Scrippy's position right now. P4 on those medium tyres. Going to be interesting. Will the safety car come in on this lap? We'll get the alert now. Speak of the devil. Yeah, we were on weaving, trying to get some temperature into his tyres because he knows he is in a vulnerable position. Obviously, thankfully for him, he's going to have to wait 3 laps before DRS is enabled and drivers can really start attacking him. But off he goes. And we're going to start lap 15 of this race. If you're giving it a 3-second time penalty. We'll look at the penalties in a moment as we green flags our go. And we'll carry on as we were. Warren from Christian, from Rainbow, Scrippy, Sipos, Andanator, Tom, Jan Failer, Paris, Josh, Kryzix, Tanitza, Padlo Futes, Brownie, and FK Gaming in P15. But he is the outlier. He could be anywhere on our screens. We don't know. He could be leading for all that we know. But on my screen, we're not too sure. But no real positions have changed as of yet. Scrippy is all over the tail of Rainbow here. And he's going to go for a move down towards the hairpin. And he's got that absolutely perfected. Perfected as such that Rainbow actually blocks off Sipos' attempt to get past him. Oh, he gets squeezed into the wall nearly by Rainbow there. Here comes Andrea. We'll go more with him. No, Rainbow keeps ahead of Sipos. As Scrippy has been released. Warren from Sendel from Scrippy. Can Sipos go through move again? Oh, he's going to go for into turn 1. That was going to be contact inevitable, to be honest. But I think they've escaped some damage. Jan Failer going round the outside of Andrea through turn 2. What a super move that it was from the McLaren driver. He is on a surge after getting spun round on lap 1, and he's going for a move on Rainbow as well, as Sipos has got past on the previous few corners. Failer through as well, onto P5. Rainbow is being chomped up by the drivers. Here comes Andrea now, and he's past the Renault driver, who has to take to the escape road, and Tom 97 will pounce through on the Renault driver, who's losing positions more often than he's taking corners. Paris down the inside now. They're nearly 3 wide. They are 3 wide. Coming into the hairpin. But Paris can't quite get past the Renault driver, but can he do so now with... No, I said with DRS, but that's like next time around. He's... Oh, yeah, I was going to say, that was... Not the greatest gap to get past. It's up ahead. Scrippy has got past Christian, and up into P2 now. So the medium tyres really working. The hards are taking their time to settle in, and Scrippy now can take the lead. He will take the lead, to be honest. He's got 8 lap fresher tyres compared to Warren. Warren will be a sitting duck down towards the final chicane. Let's see though. Well, we want to try down towards a hairpin. We've seen drivers go for moves, but this is for the lead of the Grand Prix. Scrippy wisely chooses not to do that because, well, here's why. Here's your answer. With DRS, it's a no-brainer. Scrippy leads and is well ahead into the braking zone. Warren now down to second, and look behind, that's Sipos getting very close to Christian. Is he going to go for a move like just in turn 1? He goes very deep, he doesn't even make the corner. I don't really know if that's legal or not, but it's cost Christian because here comes Jan Failer now. Sipos might be in a little bit of trouble here, but we'll have to wait and find out. Failer though, having a stormer of a restart, up into P4 now, and very much in the fight. We see everyone within DRS range apart from Rainbow, who just hasn't been able to get those hard tyres up to scratch, and you can imagine he'll be passed next time around. Up ahead, Warren does have DRS, he's very lucky there. Sipos getting close, but no viable option to attack. Oh, but into turn 1, now the great chance as Warren just absolutely fluffed that exit, and it's a much simpler move than it was last time around, or 2 laps beforehand. That's the first time in a few laps that Sipos has made turn 1 well, and they gained a place as a result. And Paris now gets past Brownie. Rainbow getting the Renaults mixed up. As one Red Bull gets past, another overtakes. Andrea gets a 3-second time penalty. He's behind Christian. On the same compound of tyres, interestingly. Christian not finding his hards. Not working as good as Andrea's hards, or Tom's hards for that matter. Oh, Andrea! Oh, that's a very risky move to go down the inside there. See what Tom thinks of it. Well, side by side still. Who gets DRS out of the two of them? Andrea. That's very, very fortunate. And Christian will probably get overtaken by Tom here. And he does. As that's Warren coming into the pits. Is that Christian coming into the pits as well? It is. Huh. Oh, it's a wing change. That explains why. That explains why he was struggling for pace. Yeah, Canada is not one of those circuits where you want to get wing damage, but it's so easy to do. Go a little bit too, carry a little bit too much speed through turn 3 and 4, bang. Through turn 13, 14, bang. 9 and 10, bang. Yeah, this track punishes, just like pretty much every other street circuit on the calendar. And so that is Tom getting past Andrea. You would imagine that because Andrea didn't have DRS. Although saying that, he will have DRS down towards the final corner. Oh, wow! Andrea must really love that hairpin, because he seems to take it with so much more speed and commitment through there. But did that little error, though, cost him a chance of getting past Tom? It did. So they'll settle into P4 and P5. I think their best bet is to try and not battle each other and just go after the top 3, because obviously they're on the medium tyres and these two being on the hards. If they take care of these tyres, and obviously they'll be in much better shape towards the end of the Grand Prix, and hey ho. Here it is then, the battle for the lead. Scrippy ahead of Sipos. Warren gets a 3-second time penalty. Seaboss well within DRS range to go for a move. Will he? That's a question. No, I don't think so. Krysix gets past. That's the wrong one. Yeah, Krysix got past Brown. Rainbow. Oh my word. Well, we get an absolute shocker with the Renaults. Rainbow tumbling down the field once again. Oh dear. I think that brings me on to the penalties, really. Probably should take a look at them. That's probably not the best way, because a lot of people are going to get warnings. Scrippy has 1 penalty. Cpos has 2 penalties. Failer has 1. Tom has 1. Andanator has 1. Paris has 2. Padler Futes has 2. Krysix has none? None. No, Padler Futes, yeah, Krysix has 0, so he's looking good. Oh, Rainbow, that was his 3rd warning there. Josh has 3. Tanitza has 4. Brownie has 1. Warren has 2. Christian has 1, and obviously Kimmich is out of the Grand Prix. Done. So yeah, everyone has got a penalty apart from Krysix, so he's looking good. It's Krysix. Obviously on those medium tyres. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep without getting a penalty. That'll be a mighty achievement. And obviously that'll promote a few places as a reward, but it's still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. 13 laps to go. So as it stands, Scrippy still leads. As Christian's at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Warren and Christian are 2 drivers we're going to have to look out for, because, well, Warren definitely, Christian maybe. Because obviously Warren now on the fresher tyres is going to be really quick towards the end. But of course, decided to not pit under the safety car. We'll have to wait and see if he can recover from what was a mistake. You can pretty much say. Here comes Cpos, take the lead of the Grand Prix and into the chicane. Well, even before the chicane, he does so. So our new driver for in this split now leads. He had an incident on the opening lap. Both AlphaTauris had an incident on the opening lap, but yeah, what a safety car can do, eh? Can bring you right back into the fight. And well, Seabold's just fighting for the ultimate prize of the victory, and he is starting to pull away a little bit from Scrippy. Scrippy's still within that DRS range, so he's still there, but obviously dropping back a little bit too much for the Mercedes liking. Yeah, 10 laps to go once they cross the line. Or 11, I should say. So these two are well ahead of Failer, who I think, well, I really don't know what's happened, really, because he was getting close to these, but like he just started to drop off. Maybe a little bit of wing damage might have caused that, or maybe he just wants to conserve those tyres to the end. As it stands, though, he's safe from Tom. Tom really isn't making any inroads to Failer. He's got a heap of drivers behind him: Andrea, Paris, Padel Futes, and Krysix. With Rainbow unable to keep up. Yeah, Warren 5 seconds behind this group, which are fighting over P9. It should be. Maybe P10. Maybe Elgato Gaming is ahead of them. Who knows? It's going to be interesting though, because Warren has a few penalties himself, but yeah, I think he'll be left to rue that error that costs him not pitting onto the safety car. Apparently Elgato Gaming, yeah, he is very much desynced, so it's going to be a mighty surprise when I see Elgato Gaming on the time boards when the race ends. Crysek's pits. Interesting. Very, very interesting from Crysek's. Coming out of the back of the field. Hitting onto the softs. That's very interesting, because I mean, considering the fact that he had no penalties, that strange. I mean, he's going to be mighty quick and might even take a point for the fastest lap, but yeah, that seems a little bit off to me. And if anything, he might get even more warnings trying to set the fastest lap and end up getting some few penalties. Maybe those medium tyres can't even last as C-Boss now pits. He's onto the softs. Interesting, so maybe those mediums can't last. What, 9 more laps? It is now. C-Boss comes out in P12. P11. Now that's a good move, that. To get past Warren. Interesting, so let's see if Scrippy and Failer follow suit. Oh, that's what I said. Crysek's. Oh no! What happened here? Wait, that's Elgato Gaming. That's just, yeah, I thought that was Tom Brown, but Elgato Gaming, of course, being desynced. He obviously, drivers obviously don't see him. As you can definitely tell by Crysek's taking the inside line and Elgato Gaming getting spun around. But yeah, Scrippy now into the pits as well. So yeah, these medium tyres definitely can't last. Failer, interestingly, braving it out. I wonder if he's trying to make it last, because he was obviously a lot slower than Scrippy and C-Boss. Is that a result of him conserving his tyres? Trying to make them last the end of the Grand Prix? I have to hope so, because he's losing time to Tom, who's just outside that buffer for DRS. He's now in it. Yeah, this could be curtains for Failer. Will Tom get DRS? Yeah, Failer is really struggling. So I don't think he's going to go to the end. I don't know though, because Failer obviously, it's very good with his time management. Let's see though. He's saying out. Interesting. He stays out for another lap. There are 7 laps to go though, so maybe he will brave it out, and who knows? If he takes a win because of it, fair play. But C-Boss is catching, and catching he is. He's cleared of the drivers behind him. Josh, Rainbow and Brownie all have been eclipsed by the AlphaTauri driver. And now he's got clean air for the next few laps to absolutely pump in these lap times and get close to the top 5. Which consist of Failer, Tom, Andrea, Paris and Padlo Futis, his teammate of course. But there were no team orders here, and Padlo Futis is in a very good position, so wouldn't want his teammate to pass him. Here comes Tom then. Failer, yeah, he's going to the end. Failer, he is going to the end. Or will he? Because Tom gets close down towards turn 1. Failure defends the inside line. Can Tom sneak his way around the outside? He thought about it. And there's Padlo Futas in the distance. Oh, Undernator really close to Tom. Oh, a little bit of contact as well between the two. Then this is music to Jan Failer's ears. He definitely would want Tom and Undernator to have a little scrap of their own. Alas, Tom stays ahead of the Mercedes driver and crucially within that 1 second. I would really like to double check penalties now, but I just fear that if I do, I'm going to miss out on something. Tom is even closer to Failer this lap around. Both of them lock up. Jan absolutely nails the apex. Tom doesn't. That's going to cost him. A sigh of relief from Jan Failer. Tom won't be able to get past into this chicane, but if he gets a good exit out of the chicane, then turn 1 might be a possibility. And turn 1 is a possibility for Tom as Jan tries to defend the inside line, but here comes Tom round the outside. Will Jan give him space? He does, round the outside into turn 2 and into the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix is our pole sitter. Tom regains the lead for the first time in quite a while. And his lead, he definitely wants to stay in towards the end of the Grand Prix. Look at Sipos going down the inside of Padlo Futas. His teammate with 2 AlphaTauri is going wheel to wheel through turn 6. And Sipos getting ahead of his teammates. That's 1 cleared, 4 more to go. Wow, Padlo Futas is couldn't do anything there to keep his teammate at bay. Wow, the top 5 drivers separated by the nearest of margins. Let's have a look. 1.7 seconds separating the 4 of them. And here comes Dandone actually. Jan Failer having to defend because he's under pressure from the Mercedes more than he's putting pressure on Tom. Look at Sipos getting the exit of a century, but just can't get past Paris. Oh, but he's going to try around the outside, inside of a turn 2. This will be a brilliant move. He can cap it off. And with that extra traction, you bet he can. He make contact. But he's through. Unbelievable. Is Sipos going to win this Grand Prix after all? He very well might. Jan Failer doesn't have the DRS. He's going to be a sitting duck. And here comes Andernator now to breeze past. And Andernator now takes 2nd place. Here comes Sipos though. Failer's tyres are screaming enough. And an easy move for the AlphaTauri driver. What? Paris tries to get past Failer as well. But to no avail. Tom, Andernator, Sipos, 1, 2, 3. Tom, Sipos, Andernator, the 1, 2, 3. Here we go. This is going to be another sense of deja vu for Tom. Leading into the final few laps, but a driver on the soft compound tyres comes and ruins his day. Last time out it was Brownie. This time around it could well be Sipos. Let me just double check the penalties because I don't want to call out the wrong winner. Tom, 2 penalties to his name. Sipos, 2 penalties to his name. Let me just double check. Tom only has, yeah. So they're level. Andernator has 2 penalties. Failer has 2 penalties, and Paris has 2 penalties. So they're all fair and square. As they're getting close as Paris and Failer. So those yellow flags out for an instant there, but I'm not really sure what for. Oh, Padlo Futas down the inside of Failer. I didn't even check his penalties. But I think, well, they're going to go wheel to wheel now down towards turn, well, the final 2 corners. And he stays ahead. At the front though, the penultimate lap. Tom ahead of Sipos. Let me just double check Padlo Futas' penalties. He has 3. So yeah, the top 5 all have 2 penalties each. So it's a low playing field, pretty much, and it's all down. Oh my word! Tom has DRS from FK Gaming. Does he? Does he? Am I seeing that? Oh, he won't now. He won't now, that's for sure. Oh, dear me, C-Boss might have blown his chance. He has blown his chance to get past Tom. Tom survives. Unbelievable. This is going to be a last lap move to take the win. Here we go. Tom versus C-Boss. The new driver against the established driver of this split. Tom has been excellent so far in his AOR PCF1 debut season. And he's been so close to winning on multiple occasions. Monaco, Baku, and now in Canada. But will Canada be the 3rd time's the charm on the street circuit for Tom 97? Will be one last chance into the, well, maybe into the hairpin, but definitely into the final chicane. But look how close C-Boss is getting. He just needs to avoid making the mistake that he did on the last lap. If anything, he's going for the hairpin. Tom defends the inside line. Here goes C-Boss round the outside. Tom squeezes him, but I think the AlphaTauri has got the job done and has DRS as well. Once again, Tom loses the lead in the final few laps of a Grand Prix. And C-Boss, the new driver to the split, has introduced himself in the best way possible by crossing the line and winning. Oh. Never mind. I didn't even realise. When did he get his penalty? Oh my word, on the 33rd lap. Wow. Anyway, Tom finally wins. Oh, pardon me, I should have noticed that earlier. It literally happened whilst I was looking at the penalties. Wow. But yeah, Tom wins then. From Andrea. Brownie gets on the podium. Where was he? Wasn't he like 9th? Well, Brownie might... Well, Brownie doesn't take... Brownie loses the championship lead, but my oh my, that's a result and a half. From the Renault driver. So he's on to the podium again for the 3rd consecutive time. But unfortunately, yeah, unsurprisingly, driver of the day. But unfortunately, he does lose that championship lead to Tom, who wins. Unfortunately, I didn't realise it, but there you go. I'm sure Tom won't mind. Congrats to the top 3 once again. Tom, Andrea, and Brownie. Say 1, 2, 3 in, well, that wasn't Baku, but in different order. And the top 3 in the championship. Certainly deserving that status after today's Grand Prix. But look at the penalties, yeah. Brownie and Crysics only picking up. Oh, if Crysics didn't get that penalty, he would have won. My word. I'm gonna double check Crysics' race director, because if he, imagine if he only got one warning, yeah, one. He got one warning on the final lap, so even if he wanted to contest it, it probably would be ruled out. FK Gaming got the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, technical issues haunted his Grand Prix. He made 5 pit stops. Michael Zinitz got disqualified at the end, but he was outside the points anyway. But yeah, there you have it. It's Tom winning from Andrea from Brownie, starting last. And pulling off the miracles once again is Brownie. Crysics P4. just missed the podium. Cpos P5 after that penalty cost him. Paris P6, failure down to P7. That strategy, just try and brave it out on the mediums. Did it work? Did it not? That's his decision at the end of the day, but he comes in P7, Rainbow P8, Padlo Futas P9, Warren P10, Josh P11, Christian P12, and Elgato Gaming P13. Scrippy retired a few laps in the end. And obviously Kimmy's retired very early on, and yeah, Brownie, the main controversy from that race, causing the safety car, and ended up benefiting a hell of a lot from it, coming P3. So there you have it. What is round 4 of the Grand Prix? Round 4 of the season. Yeah, thank you for joining. That was a hell of a race. Really enjoyed that one. Hopefully, next time around in France. Oh, France. Oh, well, maybe the next race after that in Austria might be a little bit better. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, Jen's will be back as well for the next instalment of this very exciting Grand Prix series. 4 different winners in the first 4 races. Feels like 2012 all over again. We're lucky to have a season just like that. But yeah, from myself, Costello, I will catch you all next week.